Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So going right into this look, I am using tape as usual, and I'm using Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion for my eyes, and I'm just rubbing that in very quickly. And going in with the Morphe 350M palette, I'm using this shade right here. And I'm just going to be applying that all over my eye, and I'm going to be using that as a base color. And then I'm going in with this color and just kind of using that as a base for my transition shade. And then this is my transition shade, so I'm going in with this, and it is very bright, so I'm using a very light hand with it because if I didn't, I probably would have looked crazy. And this was the closest thing that I could find to the one that Holmes uses in her video. Then I'm going in with this orange just to kind of go over that one to really make the orange color pop. And I wanted it to be a little bit brighter because I didn't want the orange to be too dark. And then I'm going in with this Kat Von D palette for the dark blue that she uses. And I'm just putting that on the outer V with a very light hand, might I add, because it was just, at some points, it was like way too hard. The product, it's so pigmented. Then I'm going back in with the same brush that I used to put the orange colors on my crease, and I am going back in with that over the blue so that I can blend it all together. Then I'm going in with that tinier brush, going back in with that dark blue, and using it in the inner corners of my eye. And I'm using this brush so that I can get as detailed as possible at creating the halo eye look. And then the inner corner I'm really not being too particular about, but I did want to make sure that the middle of it looked as detailed as possible. Then I'm going in and blending the blue out with a fluffier brush, not the same one that I used with the orange though. And I'm just blending that out as much as possible. Now going back in with the orange, I am putting that on the crease up into a little bit above the brow bone just to really make sure that the orange color pops, because I didn't want the blue to drown it out. And then I'm going back in with the other orange shade that we used and just going over that as well. And then, oh, Junior brought me a smoothie, and I got super excited. And now going in with this copperish, it's more of like a gold copperish color, but I'm putting that all over my lid. And then after I pat that all over, I also did this wet in case you were wondering, but after I do that, I'm going in with this rose gold color, and I'm just dabbing that on the very center of the lid. And then I'm going back in and blending out the blues and the oranges all together one last time, just so that we can have a nice blended look and no harsh lines or anything like that. And now I'm going to prime my face with Covergirl True Blend Face Primer for dry skin. And this is almost gone, sadly, so you can tell how much I've used it. And then I'm going in with my Unique Moodstruck Precision Pencil eyeliner in the color Proper, and this stuff is amazing. It does not go anywhere. I was super impressed by it. And then I'm taking this kind of flat, dense brush, and I'm just carrying the orange color underneath my lower lash line. And I did my eyelashes off camera, so and my eyeliner, in case you were wondering. I just didn't show that because it's pretty much the same routine as I always do. And then going in with the Wet n Wild Photofocus foundation in the color Desert Beige. I am using that for my foundation today, and I do really love this foundation, but this shade is a little bit too dark for me, but I figured after highlighting and contouring and everything like that, it did really well blending out, so I wasn't unhappy with it. And I usually do this in sections, so I'll do my forehead and then I'll do my cheeks, because I just found that like when I tried to do it all over, it kind of dried up a little bit. So doing this in sections helps me get a better like coverage on my face and it doesn't dry out. Now going in with my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer. I am just applying that to highlight my face. And I have really been loving this concealer. I've been using it constantly. But the only thing is that I can never tell how much product is on the top. So that is kind of a downside. Now I'm going to blend that out starting in the center, because that's where the least product is. And I don't want to pile up product on the center. So I'm just blending that all out. And then I'm using this Airspun loose powder to bake, and it's the translucent powder, or the original one actually. And I'm just going to use that to bake all the areas that I highlighted with my concealer. And I have been loving this. And then going into my eyebrows, I am brushing them out, and I'm using the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade. And I did not show my eyebrows on camera, so hold on one second. And after my eyebrows, I brush out all the excess of the loose powder, the Airspun loose powder that I had. And I go in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit, light to medium, and I'm using that shade all the way to the right. And I'm just contouring, bronzing with this all over. I haven't really been deep contouring lately. I've just kind of been bronzing at my face a little bit. But then I'm going in and blending that all out. And then going in with this Milani powder blush in the color Romantic Rose, which I have been loving lately. I'm just applying that to the apples of my cheeks. And then I'm blending that out so that it doesn't look super clown-like or anything. Then I'm going in with this Urban Decay Illuminated highlighter, as always. And I'm using that. And then this Wet n Wild liquid lipstick. I will list the color below. I've been loving the Wet n Wild lipsticks lately, and I just love this color. And that is it for this look. I will see you in my next video. Bye.